Well, I'm really excited today for Robert and I to kind of walk you through the great work that we're doing between both Cloudera as well as IBM to get CDP working with IBM's new watsonx.data platform. So we're going to show you how we can use the two products together to create an open data lakehouse. As you saw in Luke's presentation, Iceberg really allows you to land your data once and be able to use it safely and consistently with the engine of your choice. And what we want to do today is really show you kind of a preview of the work that IBM and Cloudera are doing with IBM's new watsonx.data product to allow you to be able to use Iceberg tables that are managed by CDP with Watson seamlessly. So now what I want to do is invite Robert up to talk about the watsonx portfolio.
Okay, thank you. We're going to get to some cool demos in a minute, but let me just do a quick setup about what we're going to see. So watsonx.data is IBM's new data store, which was announced in May, and it's also based on open lakehouse technology. We do a couple of things. So we provide a single point of entry to all of your data, but you can choose multiple different SQL query engines in order to optimize what you want to work on. Spark, Presto, but also you mentioned DB2 and Netezza, also compatible with Iceberg. We're all going in the same place as an industry. watsonx.data allows you to get started in a few minutes, leveraging your existing investments and governance with SDX and CDP, or with our own Watson Knowledge Catalog. And we can also reduce your data warehouse cost by up to 50% by optimizing the SQL query layer. Both IBM's technology and Cloudera's technology are open. So that means a couple of things. So one, it's based on familiar open source like Spark, Iceberg. You can find those skills like fungible in the market. Developers have access to that, and you can see what's inside of it. But they're also open in terms of we provide that flexibility that we don't lock you into a particular technology. You can work with what you have deployed, or you can work with what is optimal for your use case. So unlike our cloud-only competitors who do some of the same things, we don't require you to move your data. Right? You can create the application once and reuse it, whether it's on-prem or cloud, and we're not going to land lake your lakehouse in some place that's difficult to move or change in the future.
Yeah, thanks, Robert.
Oops, sorry.
So what we want to do next is really kind of show you a quick outline of what we'll see in the demo. We'll first start by just showing you how simple it is for us to be able to ingest data directly into Iceberg managed tables using Cloudera Data Flow, or CDF, that's deployed on AWS. And then we'll show you how quick you can actually migrate existing Hive managed tables to Iceberg. And then we'll wrap up with showing you just how we can actually integrate that data directly into watsonx.data. So we can go ahead and go to the video. Awesome. So we'll start by using Cloudera Data Flow deployed in AWS. This is our completely redesigned flow designer. What we're doing here is actually creating a NiFi flow that will grab cryptocurrency data from an API. We'll filter that data for just a subset of cryptocurrency coins that we're looking for. And then every 5 minutes, we'll grab time series data to look at the last 100 transactions for that specific coin. And finally, we'll dump that data into an Iceberg managed table. So we have this put Iceberg processor that's now natively integrated with NiFi. We'll just set up some specific parameters as far as where to store the Iceberg metadata, what databases and tables to use. In this case, we have this crypto stream table. And now we can look at that table in Cloudera Data Warehouse, or CDW. We have two different virtual warehouses that are set up. We have an auto-scaling Impala cluster, as well as a fixed Hive cluster. And we can use our SQL editor to just kind of take a look at what's in that table. We'll run a quick SQL query to see how many rows have already been ingested. We can take a look at the schema. And when that query is done, we can see there's about 1,500 rows. And every 5 minutes, we'll be adding data to that specific table. Creating an Iceberg table is very simple. The only thing you have to do that's different than normal is just use this stored by Iceberg keyword. We also make it really easy to take existing Hive tables and convert them to Iceberg in place. So I have this existing Hive table. I'm just going to run a quick describe statement on it. And you can see with our SERDI that's stored as a Hive table. And the only thing I need to do is just run one alter table command that will actually migrate that specific table metadata in place. I don't have to replicate the data. I don't have to create a copy of it. All that's done just in a few seconds. To prove that it actually worked, I'll run that same describe command again, and we can see that still in the same S3 location, we now have Iceberg metadata, and it's an Iceberg table type. So now once that data is stored with Iceberg, we'll see what can we do with that data in watsonx.data.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
All right, so what you're about to see is the open data lakehouse concept at work. So we have watsonx.data running in IBM Cloud, and we have the CDP Open Data Lakehouse running in AWS. and we're going to perform a join between the two tables that we looked at here, but we're not going to move the data at all. So it's not a copy of the data, it's the exact same bucket in the S3, exact same data in the S3 bucket that AWS has defined. So let's cue the next demo. Okay, we open up with our dashboard, which gives you an overview of our instance. Our infrastructure manager, you can see we have MySQL, DB2, and the Netezza tables here. But the one that's important that we're going to focus on is the S3 bucket with the crypto database inside of it. And here are all the details. We've been granted access to this, and you can see this is sitting up in an entirely different cloud, but it's going to look seamless when we actually go ahead and do our join. Okay, we're now going to go over to our data manager, and we're going to see all the tables, the schemas that we have access to. Here is the crypto stream table that we looked at earlier, and you're going to see the table schema and sample data would be exactly what you saw when we were looking at it, directly from. We wrote to it from NiFi and we looked at it from CDP. Okay, and then in another catalog here, Iceberg Minio, I have a crypto lookup table. Okay, table schema, sample data. Okay, let's go over our SQL editor. And we're going to create a simple SQL here, a couple of clicks, and we're going to perform a join against these two tables. Okay. All right, we're going to format it here. Look, here's the same data, Ethereum, Doge. All right, highlight the exact location of the tables. Okay, so we're using Presto today, but you have your choice of engine. You can just as easily use Spark or DB2 if that was optimal for this use case. And presto, those are our results. So we've just joined these using two different clouds, two different technologies, but we can get the benefits of the AI tools that are going to run on this open data lakehouse without ever having moved the data. Iceberg allowed us to leave it in the same place or having some sort of spaghetti mess of ETL that's going to move it around the enterprise. We say open, so this is also an unlock for some other tools that IBM has announced. One is watsonx AI, and this is access to IBM's foundation models, but also neither us nor Google nor ChatGPT have a moat. We're partnering with Hugging Face to give open source access to our customers that want to use that, in addition to our kind of in-house capabilities around the existing Watson foundation models, our Watson Assistant, code generation, et cetera. And the second one is watsonx governance. Now, everybody is talking about trusted AI, right? Both from an existential standpoint and from a trustworthy standpoint. But this is our tool that's a full end-to-end lifecycle management of AI models that includes monitoring of drift and bias in those models, provides explainability and transparency into how the models work and what data they use to arrive at their conclusions, and finally creates a documentation for your regulators or other stakeholders that actually want the proof that your models are safe.
Cool. Thanks. And so just to wrap up, what I want to kind of just hammer home is that we showed you just how quick and easy it was to be able to ingest data directly into Iceberg using CDF. And we showed you just how simple it was to convert existing Hive tables to Iceberg. And then lastly, you were able to see just how quickly we were able to connect both of our products together without having to actually duplicate any data, which is fantastic. So that's what we had to show. Thank you.
Thank you.